welcome to another YouTube video. As you know or may not know, my name is The Relentless Beauty. We are going to talk about the time that I ended up having my son prematurely, how it happened, what happened, and what factors played into my son coming early to where now I have a beautiful little boy on this earth. So let's get into it. Okay, guys, so let's start at the beginning of before I knew my seedling was a seedling, right? So me and my baby dad had broke up. I was like holding him down. Let's go all the way back, okay? Because we got to start from there for you to understand how we got there, right? So at the time, I was living in the hood of Montgomery with my said man at the time, right? Which is my baby daddy now. I was going through medical office administration school at Fortis College. And I was at the end of my program and getting ready for my externship. At the time, my baby dad said man at the time before he was my baby dad. He had lost his job when I got towards the end of my program, right? So I had just started a new job at a hotel. I was working at it was called the Wyndham in Montgomery. And I was working there from like 11 to 7, and then I would go to class, or 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., let me be clear. And then I would go to class from 8 a.m. to 12. And so that was Monday through Thursday I would do that. And then I worked 5 days a week at the hotel overnight, right? So at the time, like I said, he had lost his job. I was, still holding him down. Me and his dad paid his half of the rent, and I paid half of the rent, which I wasn't used to. I had never paid rent there. But, we did what we had to do so we could both stay afloat. I paid his half of the rent. His dad paid the other half of the rent. And I still paid the bills I always paid, which was the Wi-Fi and the light bill. And then I helped me and his dad split his car note and insurance, right? So we went through that, right? And I was at a point where I was like really holding him down. Like I was paying a lot of bills and he was at home with his car and stuff. I had just wrecked my first car that I had. I had got T-boned and totaled my car. So he was the only car at the house at the time. So only thing I was asking this man to do, y'all, was to pick me up from work to make sure I got to class. I had a ride from the other side of town with my friends because they stayed near me. They was going to bring me back so he didn't have to come that way again. And so it worked out. But what wasn't working out was him getting me there when he wasn't working. So after about the third time of him not picking me up and make sure I got to class, I left him. I ended up moving with one of my friends until my apartment was ready. I applied for an apartment, got approved. I had to wait for like 2 weeks until it was ready for move-in, right? So during this time, I was just going through the work, so whatever. I ended up meeting a new guy. And they ended up getting into it, but that's a story for another day, okay? So, I was still like it was kind of not up in the air, but like he was trying to get his woman back. Like my baby dad still trying to get me back, even though I was getting ready to move my apartment, but I ended up meeting somebody new. Like I said, that's a story for another day as far as what happened with that, because that was a whole nother thing. But anyways, I'm moving to my apartment, right? I'm new in my apartment, loving it, woo. It was a lot of things that transpired like that. Well, my baby dad, he was just acting so crazy. Like, he would always ride by my house. He ended up kicking my door in one time. Like, it was just a lot of stuff going on with that situation, right? And I'll tell y'all what was going on. I was trying to move on from him. I'm gonna just tell you straight up what was going on. I was trying to move on from the man. anytime he rode, when he found out where I lived, because sometimes I would need a ride. I had got a new job that was all the way across town. Like, I was working for the government, but it was like, without a car, it was 20 minutes away. And trying to lift back and forth to find rides home from when you then got off at 5, got off at 5, got off at 6. It used to be hard for me to find rides, or I had to Uber, and that's $40 a day. So it was just costing me a lot to go to this job, but it was like a good paying job. So, I would have my ex, he would, offer to come pick me up sometimes. So obviously that was him wiggling his way back in, because he knew when my car was wrecked and all that stuff. So he would come pick me up sometimes. Like, if I didn't have a way to work, he offered to come pick me up or whatever. So then that got us back in relations with each other. We weren't together, but we were still dealing with each other or whatever, in an intimate way. So, y'all, why I did that, I don't know. But he had freaking lost his mind once that started back happening. And he started riding by my house. One day, he was knocking on my door. I was trying to do some stuff in my clothing line. He done kicked my door in, knocked the hinges off my door, y'all. Like, crazy, crazy, crazy. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Crazy. When I say cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that means, y'all remember that commercial where the dude was going real, like, he was all over the place about them Cocoa Puffs. His eyes were spinning. When I say somebody's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that's what I mean. Like, they got to be like that bird was, that eagle. Because what's wrong with you? What in your right mind make you think this is a logical, okay thing to do right now in somebody else's house? So that was that, right? And so I had just got fed up, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not dealing with you no more. After today, I'm not dealing with you ever again, y'all. And what ended up happening 3 weeks later, I found out I am with child. And how I ended up finding out I was with child was, I went to this little kickback, right? And I had tried to take me a shot, and it was hurting my stomach so bad in this one little spot, right? Now, I had thought back, and I remember, like, somebody had offered me some pepperoni pizza at work. And at the time, I don't eat pork now, but at the time, I loved pepperoni pizza. And the smell of it was making me sick. So I'm like, this little pudge is hurting so bad when I took this shot. So I asked my friend to take me home because I wasn't feeling good. So I remember texting my best friend at the time, like, something ain't right, because this little pudge, my stomach, at the time I was really, 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 really skinny, like 115 pounds. Like, I'm little. And I'm like, something ain't right. This ain't normal. Kind of find out I'm pregnant, y'all. I found out the next day I'm pregnant, right? I called him crying. He's like, oh, what you crying for? And he's like, I did this on purpose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm crying because it's your child. And he's like, oh, you disrespectful. You, da, da, da. I just already knew what he was going to come with. Like, that's why I'm crying. I ain't even crying, like, because I got a baby. I'm crying that it's with you. That's why. So, I'm like in denial. I'm like, you're going to have to take me to an OBGYN or whatever. Because I just didn't believe I was pregnant, right? OBGYN, they do the ultrasound, woo. It's a little pee. It was so little to me on the screen. My son just looked so little, like a little bitty pea. Like, just, not even a pea. It just looked like nothing, like a dot. A little white dot. But then they turned on the little thing and it had a heartbeat already. So I was like, that little thing got a heartbeat? And they're like, yeah, but I didn't see like no limbs, like nothing was formed yet. So I was just like, what the heck? So I'm like, at that point I heard the heartbeat and I was just like, oh my God, it's beating so fast. I was just so astonished. So I'm like, of course, in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna keep my baby, whatever, right? So I was so scared to tell my parents, y'all. Why? I don't know. At the time I was 22, so I don't know what I was scared. I don't know why I was scared to tell them. It wasn't like we was like super close like that anyway, but I was scared to tell him. So my baby dad's dad was like, I'm finna call him and you gonna tell him. Like, you gotta tell him, whatever. So that's what he ended up doing. He called and then I told him. So me and my mom was talking a lot back and forth over the phone at the time, like, oh, you should move here. Like, you should have your baby up here. Y'all can come stay in mama's house and just pay a little rent here, blah blah blah. She wasn't asking for a lot, so I was just like, okay, cool. And so like, my baby dad at the time was saying that he wasn't sure if he wanted to move, and I was like, well, I'm moving with or without you. That's kind of where my head was at. Like, whether you come or not, I'm moving. And so it wasn't like I asked him to come. He chose to move up here, whatever, right? So I was telling my mom, like, okay, we're going to move. Like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to move. We're going to move into the house. I gave them a date, whatever. I ended up getting out of my lease, right? Because I had accepted a job for more than 100 miles away. And then in the lease, they had a clause where if you got accepted for a job offer or have an offer letter from more than 100 miles away, you can get out of your lease without having to pay anything. So that's what I did, right? Got me a job up here and was prepared to move. Well, we come up here, right, we ended up finding out my brother had my niece on the way. And it was around the same time. Well, I ended up finding this out before I found out I was pregnant. And so we were coming up for my brother's and my sister-in-law's baby shower, right? Everything's cool. We get back home. My baby dad comes in, right? And it's like, let me tell y'all, this is just a disclaimer. This is where things started getting stressful within my pregnancy. At this point, from this point on, after this weekend that I'm telling you about. So we go to the baby shower, get back. My baby daddy comes in and says, you're not going to believe what your brother told me, my little brother. He's like, you're not going to believe what your brother told me. And I was like, what? He was like, you really not going to believe this. And I was like, what? Your brother told me that he overheard that your other brother and his girl supposed to be moving into your grandma's house. And I'm like, what did he say he overheard? He said that they was packing up gifts, and he heard him telling one of his friends that it was one of my brother's friends at the baby shower that they taking the gifts over to said house that we're supposed to be moving into because they're moving in there. Now, mind you, this is a week before we're even supposed to be moving back to Huntsville. This is a week before we're supposed to be moving back here, period, right? We're supposed to be moving like that Thursday, and it's Saturday. So not even a whole week, like 5 days. So I called him, and he said, you don't believe that, dude? I said, yes, I do, because they always do stuff like that to me. At least I can't speak for nobody else. They always do stuff like that to me. So I believe it. I believe it to be true. But this is low down, right? This is when I should have let this whole thing go. This story right here. And I blame myself for some of the things that I went through after this, because when somebody show you they don't fool with you, believe them and leave them alone and don't let them back in your life again. So, right, I called my parents. I asked them where they were at when they were going to be home, so I could try to what time they were going to be home. That's what I asked, so I could mentally be prepared to sit down and have this conversation with them in a respectful way. So they came home. I let them get relaxed. Then I went in the living room to go talk to my mom. And our family friend was in there. And at the time, she was living with my parents. So I sit down. I tell them, we need to talk, because when were you going to let me know that we don't have any living arrangements up here? Because now we're in the middle of our 2 weeks notice. And I've already gotten out of my lease, which I told you this. I've gotten out of my lease in my apartment. When were you going to let me know that things changed and there's a change of plans, so I could change what I had going on for my living situation and for my 2 weeks notice that I put in with my job? And the response from my mother was, I don't want to talk about this right now. And I said, no, we're going to talk about this, because when are we going to talk about it? We were supposed to move here. Our U-Haul is reserved for Thursday. So when were you going to talk about it with us? We've got to have this conversation now, because we leave tomorrow to go back. So we're going to talk about it right now. And she says, oh, well, y'all not gonna tag team me. So she calls my dad in there. He don't really have no say so anyway. Like, he just really was there the whole time. He didn't say much. So we all sit down, we're talking. She says, well, okay, you know what? Since you want to have a conversation, yeah, such and such is moving there, and y'all are not. And that's it. And I said, well, okay, we understand that at this point. We know that because their stuff is over there. So at what point, my thing is with you is at what point were one of you all going to tell me and him? Because y'all are affecting our lives by making this decision without telling us. So, or even with telling us, it's still affecting us. So we should have known when this first was a thought or a thing. And we could have altered and adjusted what we had going on back 3 hours away. Right? So she says, well, he ain't got no, she was talking about my baby dad. He don't have no job up here lined up yet. He just has his job still down there. Okay, cool. But when was this going to be a conversation that, hey, he needs to have something lined up before we allow y'all this and that? Or, hey, things have changed. It's okay for things to change. But at what point were you going to tell us? So, she says, well, you know, that's just it. This is what's happening. They are moving in and y'all are not. That's what she said. Right? So I get up, I start crying, and I said, Darren, go get your stuff. We're gonna leave tonight. We're not waiting till tomorrow. And I said, y'all always do this shit to me. I said, I'm not even surprised. And I try to get up and walk out. So my dad says, you know, baby girl, I don't think y'all should we should end this conversation like this. He trying to mediate it because he didn't have much to say because, it's not his say-so with the house. Really, it's not his people's house. So he was just kind of like, when I got up emotional, he was just kind of like, you know, wait, like, I don't think we need to just let this blow up while y'all just storm out. During this conversation, I was like, what else is there to say? Like, what else is there to talk about? Y'all didn't have any plans. Y'all were just gonna blindside us. Obviously, y'all was gonna wait till we came up here with a U-Haul to tell us we ain't got nowhere to be. So I just felt like at the end of the day, that was fucked up. I don't care how anybody put it. To me, that was fucked up. That's like you telling me, like, how can I explain it? It's just fucked up. There's no other way to explain it. So, I get emotional. I'm trying to walk out. Me and my baby dad at the time, we were walking out, right, to go towards the hallway. My mom charges at me, grabs me by my arms, grabs me by my throat, runs me into the recliner, gets on top of me in the recliner and starts choking me. And then my baby dad's trying to get her off of me. He's like, Miss such and such, get off her. Like, you know that she's pregnant. You got to get off her. You can't do that. And she was like, no, I ain't gonna hurt her. I ain't gonna hurt her. He was like, no, you got to get up off her. You finna have to get up off her. And my dad tries to tussle with my baby dad. And he's like, Mr. Such and Such, get your wife. Why are you trying to tussle with me? Because my dad's saying, get your hands off my wife. He like, get your wife off of her. She is pregnant. She's 6 months pregnant. She cannot do that. She cannot be physical with her like this. Now, I'm just sitting there, like, trying to get her hands off from around my throat because, like, girl, you're like 300 pounds and I'm $125 and I'm pregnant. Like I'm not gonna fight you. I can't fight you if I wanted to right now. Like, so my dad ends up peeling her up off of me or whatever, right? Out of the recliner. Like, I wish y'all could have seen it. It literally looked like, it was the most demonic look on this lady's face. It was like the most demonic look on her face. She's all but, imagine a 300-pound lady, both legs up on the arm of the recliner, choking a skinny girl that's pregnant. Imagine that. Just think about it. All right? You get the visual? Okay. So that's why I say that was like the most, I'm like, this which is crazy. So everything ends up calming down. I'm like trying to catch my breath and like calm down, because I'm at this point I'm just sitting in the chair because I'm like overwhelmed with what just happened. My dad was like, "Oh, everybody just needs to calm down, blah blah blah." He's like, "Mr. Gary, Mr. such and such, I was trying to get her up. You're trying to get at me. I'm trying to get her up off of her, right?" And they just talking, and I don't really have much to say. Like, I'm just crying or whatever, because I'm like, you really just did that, and for what? Why did you do that? Like, it was not even that deep for you to do. I'm walking away from y'all. Like, I'm not disrespecting y'all. I'm not cussing, crying. I'm not even like, I'm trying to walk away from y'all before I say some stuff that is very demeaning and disrespectful. And then you come and choke me. So there's that, right? So we sit down, and I knew something was off with her mentally then when she says, "Oh, Marcella, I want to apologize. I know that you probably wanted to take this screwdriver and stab me in my throat with it." And I said, "No, I don't want to kill you, but I would have whooped your ass today if I wasn't pregnant." And I did tell her that. I said, "Me and you would have fought. For real. Like, for real, if I wasn't pregnant, if you did that. Because this whole situation just messed up." So then she says, "Well, y'all can come stay with us." And I said, "Well, what option do we have now? You've not given us any option." That's my whole point why I say that this is messed up. You've not given us to have any options or make any options for ourselves other than come stay with y'all. Why would we want to come stay with you and I'm pregnant? So guess what we had to do, y'all? We had to go stay with them. Now, I don't know what man told y'all as to why we were there, but this is the truth. While I was pregnant, that's what happened. I had my own place. You begged me to come back to Huntsville because this is my first child. I need to have my first child in somewhere like Montgomery, blah, 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 whatever, right? And so I was convinced. And I'm like, you know what, you got a good point. I don't have family here. When I go into labor, like, you know, I'm not going to have nobody down here with me. I don't know if y'all will get here in time. Like, it was a lot of factors. And, like, me and him weren't married, and he and I weren't living together. I had my own place. He was living with his brother. Him and his brother were roommates. So, to me, it made sense, right? But, y'all, living up in that house while I was pregnant stressed me out worse than anything. Like, my dad was just acting crazy. She was acting crazy. My dad was upset with me about taking a picture, talking about the size of my dress. And he's like, "Oh, you in front of our house and you got that dress on," and you, as if I'm dressed like crazy, and I wasn't. And then my mom is crying about me not going to doctor's appointments with her when she know I gotta work. And she got a whole husband that should be going to these appointments, these intimate appointments with her. He should be going. Why should I be going when I got a child on the way? I don't need to miss no days from work. It was just, y'all, it was just a mess. And I'll never forget the day after my mom had choked me. They wanted us to stay the night or something there, like finish staying the night, stay the weekend, whatever, and then leave the next day. I didn't really have much to say to my mom after she choked me. Like, the conversation was just kind of like, I didn't have nothing from my parents at that point as far as conversation or like anything. I didn't want to look at them. I was just so disgusted and disappointed with the whole thing. And how everything went down. I was just disappointed as hell. My mom kept trying to make conversation with me, and I just wouldn't say nothing to her at all. So she texted me the next day and told me that she's not, if I don't have nothing to say to her, then I could leave her house and all this stuff. Like, I guess her conscience was just eating her up. So she didn't want me there because I really, like, you trying to make conversation with me and you really ain't got nothing to talk about. That's how I felt. You trying to whatever, and You hungry? You don't know. I'm good. Just please leave me alone. Just stop trying to talk to me. I don't want nothing to eat. I don't want you to buy me nothing. I hate people that try to use money to try to manipulate and try to buy people happiness, to try to buy friendships, to try to buy apologies, instead of actually genuinely being a good person and apologizing. Instead of being a good person and saying they were wrong and genuinely apologizing, they want to use money to replace an apology. They want to use taking you out to dinner to apologize about fucked up shit they do. I just ain't fucking with it. I don't like stuff like that. So I don't deal with people like that anymore in my life. I just don't. And that's what she is known for doing, or was known for doing. I don't know who she is now, but I ain't talked to her in a minute. So I don't know who she is now, but I know that's how she used to be for years. And so, I just didn't have nothing for her. I don't want nothing to eat. I don't want to talk. Like, I don't know. Please just leave me alone. Stop talking to me. And so she's like, you gonna not talk to me in my own house? You can leave. You're not welcome here. This and this and that. Like, as if I playing victim, as if I did something to her. So guess what? We left the next day. I don't have to sit here and I don't have to do this with you. We was gonna leave Monday. We'll leave Sunday, honey. I was gonna leave the night that it happened. I was gonna leave the night before the moment before you choked me. I was gonna leave in peace, but you wouldn't let me. So that was that, right? My baby dad ends up getting into it with my sister, and I remember I had smacked the dog shit out of my baby daddy about 3-4 times because he was talking to my sister crazy. And this one, I should have known something wasn't right with my freaking mama, because my mama told me he's right. She shouldn't be talking about, my little sister shouldn't be having a say in grown people conversation or something like that. But the thing was, I feel like if you having it in front of kids, if you having a conversation with me in front of a child, like, this child is used to being around grown-ups. Y'all know that. Everybody that know my little sister, she used to be around grown-ups. So that wasn't far-fetched for her. So for him to be, and to me, it wouldn't matter whether it was or wasn't far-fetched for her. She's a child and you're an adult, and you are not nobody related to her. You ain't got no business yelling at her. So yeah, I got in on my baby daddy. Yeah, I sure did. I smacked the dog shit out of him. Stop disrespecting my little sister. And my mom was like, yeah, well, he should, you know what, you're right. And I'm like, no, he shouldn't be yelling at her though. Well, yeah, but yeah, no, something wrong with you too. Something wrong with you too. Cause what? That's your child. What do you mean? But what do you mean? But the way he was yelling at her, you would have thought that he wanted to put his hands on her. No, absolutely not. I ain't going for it. She's like, at the time, she's like 9, 10, like she was young. So no. So I was getting so stressed out, and I remember my dad's mom, my grandma, my dad's mom had said some really hateful things to me and about my baby dad to me one day when she came over after church, and I cried so hard, and I said, you know what? Yeah, I won't be dealing with her for a while. And I didn't, to be honest. I didn't deal with her for a while either, because she wasn't nice to me during my pregnancy either. And so, I remember seeing ultrasounds of my sons. I have the DVDs. If I could find a DVD player, I will put them on YouTube. I'll put them on Facebook. There are ultrasounds of him with his hand on his head. Like, these people are stressing me and my mama out. Like, I wish y'all could see him. Like, he had his hand on his head so many times in his ultrasound. Like, they is stressing me out. They is stressing my mama out, and they stressing me out. That's exactly what it looked like. Like, they stressing him out. These folks are stressing him out, and they was stressing us out bad. Y'all, stressing us out to the point I end up having my baby almost 2 months early. Had my baby almost 2 months early. It was that bad. It was that bad. But on May the 3rd, 2017, my baby was born. 100% healthy. 6.5 weeks early, y'all. And healthy. No ailments, no sickness, no NICU, no nothing. He was perfectly healthy. So at the end of the day, through all of that, God had the last say so. But let me tell you, I should have set boundaries back then. I should have set boundaries and I didn't, y'all. After that whole situation, I should have like started distancing myself more and more, and I didn't. And God showed me who these people were a long time ago. And so that's why I say at some points I had to blame myself, because at what point are you the reason? Are you the cause for your own harm? Are you the cause for your own heartache and agony? You know what I'm saying? Like, God show you when it's time to let people go. You choose when you want to see it. That's the truth. You choose when you want to see it. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. I chose when I wanted to see it. And it continued. The abuse continued after the fact that I had a baby. And it got worse. And it was like the devil was working through my baby daddy too. It's like he started to act crazy too. And it was just like I had to start literally, like how you peel a banana. I had to peel all these people off like a banana peel. One by one. Layer by layer. Peeling them up out of my energy. Peeling them up off of me, because I saw that for instance right there. Like, let me tell you the moment I knew, okay, yeah, my baby daddy, I knew before it started getting real bad with him, I knew that he was gonna have to go. Because the day that I got released from the hospital, he kind of felt some type of way because my homegirl sent me some strawberries from Edible Arrangements, right? And I ate my damn strawberries and I ain't sharing them because I don't have to, because I should be getting Edible Arrangements and flowers and balloons and shit from you. Did I? No. Absolutely not. I did not. So, yeah. He kind of felt a little jealous that somebody did something for me outside of him. And I mean, it was my homegirl, but he still felt some type of way that I guess maybe he couldn't afford it, and he never bought me none. Woo, I don't know. And so when we're going to put the baby in the car, I'm trying to tell him how to put the baby in the car. Do you know this man had kind of pushed me out the way, and I got stitches down there? Yeah, while we're in the doorway, like at the entrance, the front of the hospital, like push me, and I'm like, I know this. So I'm like, I could already feel the energy. Like when we walked in the house with the baby, I felt the energy that it was like a shift, like it was like a switch. And he literally, probably about 4 or 5 weeks later, came home, started talking about he don't believe in God, don't believe in Jesus. And all I could do was pray for that man, because what are you even talking about? You don't believe in what? You don't believe in who? Okay, let me give you this ring back slowly, because what are you talking about? I don't know, huh? But what I went through with him postpartum is another story for another day. I said all this to say, set boundaries with people and keep your foot on their necks about your boundaries. Let people go when they show you who they are the first time. That's the message. Love you. Bye.
Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Don't play with it.